Hi, how's your Task 1 writing coming along? It's Ruth here from IELTS Help, and today I'm going to show you how to describe 3 pie charts over 3 different years. Let's have a look at the task first. So you should spend about 20 minutes on this task because you probably know it's an hour for the whole test, and approximately 20 minutes you spend on this task, and then 40 minutes should be allocated to task 2. Anyway, let's focus on task 1. There are 3 pie charts here, and they show the changes in annual spending by 1. A particular school. Where is the school? In the United Kingdom. It's not a line graph, so you have to talk about 3 separate years: 1981, 1991 and 2001. What do you notice straight away? For me, I notice that this light grey area is the biggest in all 3 years. What does this light grey area represent? It is the teachers' salaries, or payment to teachers. So that's an important thing to notice straight away. So IELTS Task 1 always tells you to select and report the main features. Do not try to report everything. You have to choose carefully. The choices you make, this selection that you do, is part of the test. So ask questions like, what is the difference from the beginning to the end? What accounts for the largest proportion? And what accounts for the smallest proportion? So you're looking for main features, not everything. So, can you see the overall trends? I know the picture's a bit smaller here. Just have a look at it again. Follow from 1981 to 91 to 2001. What have you noticed? Let me make it smaller again. Can you see that paying teachers went from 40 to 50 and then back to 45%? So there was a peak in the middle. Paying other staff went from 28 to 22 to 15. So this amount of school spending declined steadily. And what's the difference from the beginning to the end? 28 to 15%, which is almost half. Resources, especially classroom books, also went down, but with a peak in the middle. Furniture and other equipment is totally different. What happened in the middle year? Only 5%. What's the opposite of a peak? It is a dip. So can you see the line? Imagine the line. 15% down to 5% and then a big rise to 23%. This is a dip. And the smallest part of the school spending was on insurance. What happened to this one? It rose consistently, or it rose steadily. So these are the overall trends. Now, before I show you the answer, let's just practice. After all, some of you probably need some general grammar help. Have a look at the verbs first. Take up, account for, reach, went down, make up, and increase. You need to use a variety of verb words. I'll just let you read those quietly by yourself. Of course, you can pause the recording whenever you want. I also want you to notice the noun phrases. The majority of the school budget. The greatest proportion of the school spending. Half of the total. The second largest proportion of the chart. It's my experience that it's all those little words that make students often fail. The definite article the and the preposition of. So please pay attention to all of that as well. Anyway, you can come back to this screen if you want to practice your sentences and your grammar. Let's have a look at the text now. Let's write the overview. The 3 pie charts show how much of the total budget in a school in the United Kingdom was spent on different school needs in 3 different years, 1981, 1991 and 2001. There were 5 areas of spending, with teachers' salaries clearly taking up the highest percentage in all 3 years. I've just put a little hint here. Try to use the question words like what, who, when, where and how much or how many, just to help you remember everything to put in the overview. Some students also like to put the absolutely most significant feature, which is that teachers' salaries clearly took up the highest percentage. Let's keep going. After the overview, write about the main ideas. Let's read it. It is clear across all 3 years that paying teachers was the most important budget item. This was followed by paying other staff. Resources made up the 3rd and 4th items, comprising books and furniture respectively. The last and smallest proportion was consistently insurance. Or you can put the adverb here last. Do you notice the range of vocabulary? Paying teachers, other staff, comprising books and furniture respectively. If you only write overall trend in this paragraph, do not put numbers, just a description of the overall trend. In the next paragraph, which is the final one, you can choose relevant features and detail to share with the reader. But remember, you can't write about everything, just what you think is the most important. While some overall trends are clear, there is some difference in the spending between 1981 and 2001. The teachers' salaries reached a peak of 50% of the total in 1991 before falling back a little to 45% in 2001. In contrast, money paid to other staff declined steadily by almost half, reaching only 15% in 2001. The other 3 areas of expenditure all rose. However, the spending on furniture and other equipment experienced a dip in the middle year. It fell to just 5%. 10 years later, it had risen to almost a quarter of the total expenditure. Could you write that? Could you use 10 years later, it had risen with past perfect? If you can't, you need to check this grammar out. Ask your teacher or consult a book. Now here is the total text. It is 191 words. So it's a very good length for the amount of data that was in those 3 pie charts. So take your time and read that at your leisure. I really hope that this has helped you learn some useful tips for answering a Task 1 writing instruction in the IELTS test. My name is Ruth and I'm here to help you. All of these are free at the moment, and you can also contact me on these social media. I wish you all the best with the exam. Bye!